Heads up, this video is the second part of a two-part analysis on my favorite dreamscapes in I, the Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. While not necessary, I would highly recommend watching the first part, The Heartbreak of Need Info, before this one. I, the Somnium Files is a very special series. Being murder mystery games where you actually dive into the characters' heads for information, it really feels like nothing else the mystery genre has done before. Each brain has such a creative expression of the character you examine, in both showing the events that have affected them recently and their personality. Their thoughts, feelings, everything is so wonderfully communicated in these mindscapes. Traversal is clear and legible, and complementing the complexity of their feelings and the puzzles within, it all blends together to make most of them truly remarkable. Not only does each one get deeper into the mystery, but as you poke and prod at the characters, you can learn about the cast. You can maybe even grow attached to them. It's something that the series writer, Kotaro Uchikoshi, seems to have a knack for. Sure, they don't all hit, but when they do, well, they can hit you right in the heart. Last time I discussed Need Info, the Somnium, or Dreamscape, of Andes Komeiji, aka Yonoharu Enda. It showed the desperation and heartbreak of a man who had lost nearly everything dear to him, and how, despite it all, he still clung to what he had left. Most importantly, his son. And now I'd like to examine the Somnium of said son, Shoma Enda. After a brave display from his father, saving Shoma from abduction by the Horodori Institute of Genetics, there's naturally a lot of questions. So, with our curiosity piqued as to how he's further involved with the mystery, our protagonists, Ryuki and Tama, go into his mind to seek answers. However, what we find there may go beyond all of that. It may dig a little deeper into the emotional side of Shoma. It may lead us to the heart of his nested insecurities. Fuck yeah, I still got it, dude. By the way, I will only be talking about events that have happened up to this point in the story. I'm going to try not to bring up anything that happens after the fact. Shoma Enda is a brilliant kid. Adept in mechanics, able to build a freaking robot even. Fairly impressive for a 12-year-old boy. However, that talent comes at a price. And the price in his case is his communication skills. The boy is withdrawn, introverted. It takes a while for him to open up, and he's made a pretty bad habit out of lying. On top of that, he's usually only seen in one of two places, the Enda household or the amusement park. And even then, the latter has a bittersweet vibe to it, being the workplace of his father. To put it mildly, Shoma's grown a bit of a distaste for his father over time.
When he said that, I blurted out,
"That's why your wife left you!"
Their relationship is a little rocky. As I stated in the Komeiji video, he does a lot for Shoma in pursuit of his happiness to support him, but Shoma doesn't typically show any emotions back. He hides them behind many veils.
Yeah, there's a melancholy feel to it. Maybe this is Shoma's state of mind.
He's holding something dark inside.
As we sync with him and go deep into his somnium, we start to see the emotions that those veils entail. As Pewter says in the first Somnium Files game, the subject is the author, director, and actor of what's basically a play in their mind, while the sinker is more of an observer. Here in Shoma's Somnium, this is played straight, instead of the subversion present in Komeiji's Somnium. As you go around this dream version of the Enda household, interacting with the different props that show up, scenes play out where you get a sense of the frustrations that plagued Shoma. I think it's especially impressive considering this is one of the smallest sets in all the sequel's Somniums. They like to play with size for this game, so this was clearly intentional. In this small set, you see everything that Shoma had to endure. It's all reflected in such a small, confined space. All of that is on the outside, the quote-unquote real world, while he takes all the positive emotions and represses them in a fake model world that he created. Having to cope with all these negative emotions for so long, he dismisses the positivity as fake and hides it away. This left him confused and vulnerable, and it was in this state that both Horodori Institute and the Secret Society of Knives took advantage of the poor boy. There are many points where this is shown, but I'll point to two spots in the Somniums where this was foreshadowed. In Need Info, where the end of the Shoma route shows a letter from Horodori Institute, and in Tokiko Somnium, Knives Law's Intentions, where Shoma is seen in one of the surrealist visions of that level, in the fetal position. Speaking of Tokiko Somnium, if I may take a detour for a second, both her mindscape and the Somnium of Chikara Horidori barely show a thread of reality, showing how detached they've become from this world. Tokiko Somnium is this blank void filled with obscure puzzles. The only thing that's clear about it are her objectives, what she wants to do to break free from this fake world that she thinks she's in. Chikara's Somnium, on the other hand, is wacky, psychedelic, and fantastical, showing how, due to his belief in the simulation theory, that he thinks he is without parallel, and without consequence. In contrast, while Shoma tries to follow suit, he just can't let go of his feelings for this world. He can't just throw away his heart that easily.
If it wasn't fake, if it was real the whole time, is my pain real too?
Granted, he's younger than the both of them, and has seen significantly less shit than both of them, but I digress. The outside layers of Shoma's Somnium have a sterile, grayish color palette, but the inner layer of the quote-unquote fake world, which Shoma perceives as having the only things he can believe in, is more colorful and abstract.
Maybe that symbolizes his belief that this artificial world is the real world.
The method to crack this Somnium is to tap into these repressed memories, the memories from his past that remind Shoma of his lost happiness, to remind him that, though it may seem like those times are gone, they aren't. Not yet. And this is further accentuated by the beautiful music in this Somnium. Music is such a beautiful medium, isn't it? The way it can surpass words and tell a story in its own unique way makes it so wonderful. In this way, I've always had a fascination with film scores and video game soundtracks. Compositions that have memorable melodies or striking atmospheres that reflect the situation they're placed in. In most cases, the tracks for the Somniums and Nirvana Initiative all complement their worlds beautifully. But the track for Nested Insecurities kinda goes beyond that, and complements not just its assigned Somnium, but Komeji's too. From the beginning, we hear these echoing notes, fading off without interruption. It feels like a representation of Shoma's isolation. As the belief that the world is fake was instilled in his head, he isolates himself within a real fake world. But this world was little more than an echo chamber, made so he didn't have to accept reality. Alongside the echoey feel of the song and the nice piano, there's the use of a wind-like sound throughout the piece. The non-instrumental sound paints such a vivid picture, representing the things Shoma lost sight of in his isolation, the things that were pushed away. It really sells how even if he has people to turn to, he can't bring himself to turn to them. He doesn't have the willpower to reach out to them. I mean, hell, it takes the player characters going into his mind to reveal what's truly ailing him. Well, except for that one time when he spoke his mind with no filter.
You should kill yourself now!
But again, that's unimportant right now, and Shoma clearly regrets doing that in the other route. But in this moment, in this route, Shoma struggles to get his feelings out. Ayo, bars? But perhaps the biggest thing to note in this song is the use of the harmonica. As established in the game's previous Somnium, Need Info, the harmonica is Komeji's instrument, as in it represents him as a character. It was the key instrument used in the song for Need Info, and no other Somnium uses it, except this one. It plays against the sounds of the wind, fading into the atmosphere, almost as if it's representing Komeji still trying to reach Shoma, despite a distance growing between them. While everything else in the track represents Shoma, this one part stands out.
Anyway, I decided to change the kanji for your name. The kanji for sho can be congratulatory or mean happiness. I was so happy when you were born, I made it a part of your name. But to me, you still have the laughter in there, because I wanted you to stay smiling forever.
Despite how much he says he hates his father, thinks he's stupid, Shoma knows that Komeiji cherishes him like nothing else. I love that this is a constant through line for both of their dream worlds. Komeiji truly does love his son, and even if Shoma has a hard time reciprocating the feelings on the outside, on the inside he not only acknowledges it, but deep in his heart he knows he wants to return the affection. And it's through that understanding of love that we reach our conclusion. After breaking through the mental locks, Shoma confronts his insecurities head-on, in the form of a grayscale version of himself, paralleling how the outside layer of his somnium was in grayscale. The grayscale Shoma, or Groma, fears that Shoma opening his heart will only lead to it being hurt again. But Shoma addresses Groma's arguments, and together they reach a mutual conclusion.
I don't care about anything! You should know what you really want to say! Dad, I love you.
A conclusion of acceptance, forgiveness, and love. The Somnium ends with the color returning to Shoma's world, as he feels like he can open up again. While Nested Insecurities doesn't exactly answer all the pressing questions that it proposes, as a side component to a story made to flesh out its characters, it doesn't really have to. And by understanding that, it uses its time to not just explore Shoma's character, but to give a reminder to the player. Your feelings are real. Love is real. Even if the world is fake. If it's real to you, isn't that all that really matters?
You know, Shoma does look best when he's smiling.
Nested Insecurities is such a welcome chaser after all of the stress and heartbreak that Komeiji's Somnium brought. It addresses the doubt and fear that can come with reopening a wounded heart, but in the same breath, it makes the heart whole again by reminding it of the power that kindness and affection can bring. At such a young age, Shoma already has a lot to deal with in his life. But despite it all, light can come through the cracks and show that it'll be okay. The thing about this conclusion is that, while for Shoma it's about reconciliation with his father, the message is not exclusively about family. It's about keeping in touch with those who mean the most to you. It can be a loved one or a friend. Despite who it may be, the message remains the same. Don't lose yourself. You can heal. Your feelings are real. Don't listen to the people that try to tear you down or manipulate you. Listen to the people who try to support you, those who treat you as an equal. It's up to you to make the changes in your life, but listen to those who try to genuinely help you. No matter how rough things get, there are people out there who love you. Never forget that.
But I'm sure they'll be fine. As long as they have smiles, their world will be saved.